So 2020 is going to be the year of the lockdown, not just for us humans, but for us here at the homestead. It's been firstly the humans that were affected, and then secondly my bees have been affected by a disease causing them to go into lockdown, and that's why they're not home with me. They're still at the apiary about an hour away. And finally now we've gone into chicken lockdown. My poor hens. So these girls are used to having all this to run with their friends over here, but now we are officially in chicken lockdown as well. So hopefully we've got the vaccine of COVID on the way. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year for all of us and we won't need to do that again. Anyway, something to cheer you up rather than the doom and gloom of lockdown. I've got another video today done by Alan. It's the last in a series that he did for me with soap making, and today we're doing beeswax wraps. They are a fantastic sustainable way of getting away from the use of cling film. We use them here. We don't use them as much as we could, and certainly I've got in my future to make some of my own. Without further ado, I'll hand you over again to Alan. Cheers, mate.
Hello everyone, it's Alan from Urban Homesteading UK podcast here. I'm just going to do a little video for Carl, just to give him a shout out. Obviously he's on the mend now, so hopefully he'll be back making his own videos soon, but I thought I'd just do a little one to keep him tidied over. Just making some beeswax wraps here for Christmas gifts. Everyone obviously is thinking about single-use plastic a lot at the minute and sort of on everyone's lips, so I thought I'd just show you how to make these. Lots of people talk about them, and this is what they are. It's just literally a piece of cotton fabric here, which I've soaked in beeswax, and then you can just use them like you would cling film, so you can obviously fold them over. You can sort of see how you might be able to fold a sandwich inside that, perhaps put it in a lunchbox, and away you go like that. So you can see how that's going to work. You can also use them like you would cling film in the fridge, so over the top of a bowl maybe. Obviously stick it over top, elastic band or a piece of string just to hold it in place, or even just push it down on the sides, particularly if the bowls and want it to stick to it. So I'm going to show you how to make them. What I've got here is some 100% cotton fabric. Okay, really important it's cotton. Obviously some of the man-made fabrics will melt if you put too much heat on them, so just be aware of that. So I've got some of those. I've got some beeswax. I'm fortunate enough to be a beekeeper, so I'll save some of the wax that we got from this year's harvest. Now what I've done is grate that up to make it a bit smaller. If you haven't got access to this, you could try your local beekeeping association, or if you happen to know a beekeeper, see if they've got any spare. Or failing that, you can buy beeswax pastels online, so go online and obviously order some of those. What I've then got is some sheets of greaseproof paper, one for the top, one for the bottom, and then I'm going to put the piece of cotton in between. Now it's really important to say this worktop is a heat-proof worktop, so it's designed to take the heat. You know, put a pan straight down on it, no problem at all. If you've got one of those ones that might scorch, like it's like a solid wooden one, or if it's one of those ones with the plastic sort of laminate on the outside of the chipboard, just to be aware that putting the heat on this strut directly could cause you a problem. I don't want anyone going out there scorching their worktops. That would be a big mistake. So just to be aware of that problem, what you could do is put a towel or a sheet or something underneath. That would help to solve that and keep the heat away. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to take my beeswax, okay, and I'm just checking out for any else, nice little impurity there, we'll get rid of that. So what I'm then going to do is sprinkle some beeswax on the top, a bit like you see them doing the pizza down at the deli counter at the supermarket. Important to say at this point, it's better to put too little on than too much. You can always add more later on. It's much harder to work it out if you've got too much on it to kind of get it back off again. So just to be aware of that potential pitfall. I'm then going to put the second sheet of greaseproof paper on the top. Okay, and it's this point we need to be patient. The iron is on the lowest setting I can get it onto. And what I want to do is to melt the beeswax without burning it. So I'm just literally going to very patiently work the iron over the top of there, pushing down a little bit. And what you should see relatively quickly is that some of the beeswax will start to melt. And the material, which is this colour at the minute, will start to look like it's a bit wet underneath, where it's got obviously melted beeswax soaking into it. Okay, just get that there. Now actually these are for gifts. I'm going to be giving these away for Christmas. I've made some soaps, so I'm going to put some soaps inside these and wrap them up with a nice bow and give those away as Christmas gifts. But obviously you can make them for yourself, make them to give away, make them to sell them even for that matter. These days people seem to want to buy this sort of thing and make use of this to try and obviously protect the planet. So if you can see on here now that this is starting to look melted, you can see the different colour. You can actually see where the wax hasn't melted on this side yet. Just try and push that down. What I'm looking for all the while is any gaps where I can see that it's not got beeswax soaking into it. And I'm trying to work the iron over those areas to work the wax into them. Now, if that's not possible, what I'll do in a minute is I'll lift up the greaseproof paper and I will put some extra wax on those little patches. The other thing I'm doing now, I don't know if you can just see that coming through there, is I'm working that wax where I've got excess to the edges, and I can peel that off and reuse that later on. Now obviously the reason for the greaseproof paper is to try and protect my iron. The last thing I really want to be doing is getting beeswax, melted beeswax on the iron, because I'm going to iron my shirts later on for work. So the greaseproof is there to try and protect it. Should I get any on there, it is possible to get it off. Just want an old piece of material, turn the iron right up to full whack, and then on the old material you're just going to iron off the wax onto that. It'll take a little while, but it'll come clean again pretty quick. So I've done quite a good job here, I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm just going to now lift that back. Now what I'm looking for is just little patches like that right on the edge there. If you can just see that, the wax is here. There's a bit too much wax here actually, and then this is about right, but then there's none there at all. So I'm just going to work that across first of all, if I can. Get it nice and warm. I'm going to apply a bit of pressure. Try and work that wax that's excess out to the sides. Hopefully in the process I've got that bit there. It looks like I have. Pause it.
Okay.
So there we are. And what I've got there is just a little tiny patch in the corner there, so I'm just going to add a little tiny bit more wax there. Melt that down. Okay. Now this is quite a wide piece of fabric here, relative to my greaseproof paper. They're about 13-inch squares, these pieces, something like that, 12 or 13 inches. And I've just got a little edge down here I couldn't get to without tipping the wax on the floor, and I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to lift that up. Take those bits of loose wax that were in there, put that back down again, just melt that in there. Just a little bit of quality control at this point, so I'm looking just for any gaps first of all. I can just see there's a bit too much wax there, so I'm just going to work that out. And we're pretty much there. And there we are. I'll take that greaseproof away and peel that off. You'll probably find you get a few bits of wax stick to the outside of the material, like they are here. Look. Just want to peel those off, and that wax can be reused, save wasting it. It's quite expensive stuff to buy it, so don't be wasting it. And there we have it, on beeswax wrap. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. I am Alan from Urban Homestead UK podcast. If you've enjoyed the video, obviously please do come and check us out on all your usual podcast platforms. But also please do keep continuing to support Carl and the Self-Sufficient Hub, because they're doing a really great job. But thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks again, Alan, for that. And I just wanted to add, so if you're interested in beeswax wraps, but you don't fancy making your own, if you wanted to buy some, then get in touch with Julie at Elegant Sufficiency. Now, Elegant Sufficiency usually leaves comments down below, and I'm sure she will on this video, and she makes them and sells them. So it's not too late to get in touch for Christmas. Please do get in touch. I'm sure Julie will leave a comment down below and you can contact her in the comments section. But otherwise, just search for Elegant Sufficiency. It's a great way to support someone else who's doing this kind of thing, and also getting a amazing, sustainable, handmade, artisanal product of high quality. So yeah, do get in touch with Julie. As always, make sure you're subscribed, you like this video, leave a comment down below, and come find us elsewhere. Just search everywhere for Self-Sufficient Hub, including your podcast provider. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you guys soon.